traits. We've all been there. We've all been grinding for them, trying our hardest to grind these traits. But today, I want to talk about the worst trait of them all, All-Star. It is clearly a terrible trait to have. It is probably the worst trait, in my opinion, to ever get on any unit. 0.2% and for naught. Okay. Here are some points on why I think it's the worst. Alright. All-Star plus 300% damage bonus. On paper, that looks really good. On paper, it's amazing. But it has the unit limit of 1. Now, what's the big problem with that? Most units are 4 out of 4. Okay. I can place 4 Zoros, I can place 4 Ulquioras, I can place 4 Gokus. So what does that do for me? For instance, let's say each unit is 100% damage. Alright? So we have one Goku. Let me get some circles. Let me get some good circles here. Right here. Alright. We have one Goku. We'll use Zoro. We have 4 Zoros, right? We have 4 Zoros. There you go, 4 Zoros right there on that. Okay? And they each do, let's say 5k. They each do 5k. Alright, now let's go and let's say they have, let's say they have All-Star down here. Now this guy does 5k plus 300%. Now 300% is just 3 times 5, which is 15. Alright, so this guy does 20 damage. So he does the same exact amount of damage as these guys. Okay, so far, same DPS. Now, he gets a 10% range bonus and a 10% speed bonus. Alright, and those also look really good on paper until you realize Corrupted, 10% speed bonus. Bloodless, 10% range bonus and 10% speed bonus if you stack it up. Genesis, 8.5, 8.5. Right, now here's the thing. Genesis is most likely the best in the game. I say this with a bit of certainty because I think the only thing better than Genesis would be Bloodlust. I'll get into that in a different video. But Genesis itself does so much better. So real quick, we have the 20, right? We have the 20 damage here, and we have the 20 damage down here as well for this guy. But let's get their SBAs right. Alright, let's say they all have 2 SBA. Alright, so 20 divided by 2, that's 10. So top has a DPS of 10k, right? And now we'll have this guy down here, 20 over 20 over 1.8 because it's a 10% decrease from 2. So 2 minus 0.2, which is 10% of 2, is 1.8. Okay, that's how I got my math. So 20 over 1.8. Now let's pull up our trusty dandy calculator. 20 divided by 1.8. It's 11.11. Alright, so he has 11.11k DPS. Alright, now we're gonna go to Genesis. Okay, let's put these all up here real quick. We have our nice little handy dandy 10k DPS for the first one, and then 11.11 DPS. Now let's go to Genesis. Genesis has 4 units. You can still place 4, and they'll have a 12.5% increase. So instead of 5k, he's doing 5,625. Okay, times 4. All right, 5,625 times 4 is 22,500. All right, already more damage. So in total, he's doing 22,500. Now his SBA decrease is 8.5%. 8.5% of 2 is 0.17, which is almost so close to 1.2%. So it's actually 1.83. Okay, so now we're gonna calculate Genesis damage. We're gonna exclude the range from these probabilities for them. We'll just assume you hit the whole map, because I'm not gonna lie, Zoro's just gonna hit the whole map. All right. So let's assume you just hit the whole map. Okay. You don't need more range at that point. Most units basically, well, Zoro hits the whole map, and that's all you really need. Okay. Now, 22,500 over 1.83 is equal to trusty handy dandy calculator. 500 divided by 1.83 is 12,295. So we'll just round that up to 12,3. It's off by 5 damage, guys. A simple 2% damage buff. So we'll round it up to 13k DPS. No, whoa, I'm a liar. Not 13k. 12.3k. That's what I meant to say. 12.3. So in total, we have the 11.11 and then the 12.3k. Alright, so this is nothing. This is All-Star. And this is Genesis. Okay, I will say the one good thing about All-Star is the price decrease. The price decrease makes it so good for raids and story mode. It's a 1.75 price increase from base. 4 of these cost you 20k total, 5k each. This only costs 8.75k to place, right? But these will still cost 20k. So what I'm getting at with this is that All-Star, great for story and raids. I feel like you should have one All-Star unit, and maybe that's it, and that's just for the story and raids. But Genesis overall beats All-Star in Infinite. In Infinite mode, your DPS is going to be way higher. Your range doesn't really matter. The true damage, if we're ignoring elemental rules, like this right here makes it feel like it's good. It's good for story. It's also, this also kind of has a beat in story because 50% of your damage is true. But this also makes it good for story. So they're both good for story. All-Star might be just a little bit better because of the price. And Genesis, insanely good for Infinite. The best Infinite thing, I'd say. The best Infinite trait. Next to that, I think, would be Bloodlust. I think Bloodlust may be the best next to Genesis, but this is very wacky to use. Very wacky because you have to keep your stacks up, and it's not hard to keep your stacks up, but if your unit has a low range, then you can't keep your stacks up. Corrupted, I'd say, is also really good because of the 10% damage from attack, the 10% damage increase. It's actually really good for that one reason, and the shield breaks. These are the two main reasons why I think it's good on only support units like Blackbeard, right? Because the speed and the range and the shield bypass damage is not really that useful. But I'd say if you can put this on like a Blackbeard or something, it'd be really good because Blackbeard usually hits everyone. But that's my little rant for today. Just remember, guys, don't get All-Star. Try your best not to get All-Star. And if you do, make sure it's on 3 placement units, because on 3 placement units, it's a 25% damage increase, making it better than Genesis. I forgot to mention that little part. Genesis is worse on 3 placement units. All-Star is so much better on 3 placement units. Alright? I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.